Hey guys, I'm back with another video. So in this week's video, we're going to be talking about the app Musical.ly. And I recently got Musical.ly, and I, for one, actually enjoy the app. The one thing I don't understand is why people are becoming famous from this app. I recently discovered Musical.ly. I know it's been out for a while, but I recently discovered it. And so basically, recently I've been watching a lot of Vine compilations on YouTube, and then usually like in the sidebar it'll show things that are recommended to you, and one that was recommended to me was a Musical.ly compilation, and I didn't know what it was. I clicked on it and I thought that it was really cool. I thought that the camera movements and the hand movements that people did were really awesome, and I was like, wow, that must be so difficult to get the camera to move exactly on beat and all this stuff. And so then I decided to download it. And then when I did, I realized that depending on what setting you decide to choose, and most people choose fast, which it plays the song in slow motion, but then it speeds it back up after you finish recording. And so I'm like, it's not that difficult, because the song, like when you're hitting like every single beat with your camera movement, it's not difficult, because even if a song is super fast, if you have your phone and you're doing a Musical.ly, you just move your phone like this, and then it looks like you're moving it like all over the place, but you're literally moving it in slow motion. So even if you're lip syncing to like the fastest of rap songs, it's still easy because you're moving your mouth and your camera in slow motion. And yes, I realize that some people are better at Musical.ly than others. As I said, I recently created a Musical.ly. I'm not bashing the app. I actually like it, and I think it's cute and creative, and I love doing it. But at the same time, you don't necessarily need to be talented to do it. Yes, some users are better than others, and I've seen some cringy Musical.ly compilations. So yes, I realize that not everyone is necessarily good at Musical.ly, but it's not, as long as you keep your phone steady, which they have like these things that you can put on the back of your phone so that you can like hold it, because when you're filming a Musical.ly, you can hit like the 5-second timer thing so that it films automatically, or you have to click and hold your finger on the spot. So then users have this thing on the back of their phone so that they can hold their phone comfortably and move it smoothly. So for the most part, if you have that thing, or whether or not you have it, and you hold your phone steadily, your Musical.ly will be pretty decent. And if you ever decide to check out my Musical.ly, the link will be below. Yes, it may not be good as all the best musers out there, but the idea gets across. I know the famous musers, at least the ones that I've personally seen, all do the same thing, and I'm guilty of doing this because I do exactly what they do. And like basically they'll have their phone, and then if the word love is in the song, they'll be like love, and then they move their phone like the opposite direction of their hand that isn't holding the phone. So then they'll be like, I love someone, or I'm looking for something, or like they move their phone opposite, so they'll be like down, up, and like everyone does the same thing. And so I understand like there had to be a first person to do it. So I understand why the first person who did it, someone was like, oh, that's so cool. But now since everyone is doing the exact same thing, I feel like it's kind of dry because everyone does it. And yes, I'm guilty of doing it too. I do the exact same thing, and it's not that I'm trying to be a copycat, but in reality, there's only so many different things you can do. Like, how many different ways can you show the word love when you only have one hand to do it with? So I understand why everyone more or less does the same thing, but at the same time, if you're not being unique and original, why are you famous for it? Like, I didn't make a Musical.ly so that I could become Musical.ly famous. I just like discovered the app and decided that I wanted to start using it, and I do use it. At the moment, I only have 7 Musical.lys, and I plan to make more, but at the same time, you run out of hand movements. Like, I plan to like change up my Musical.lys. I don't really know how, but I'm working on that. And so, but everyone's is the exact same. So I'm like, why are 10 people per se famous for doing the exact same thing as the other person? And as I previously mentioned, you don't necessarily have to be talented to do this. And one thing that gets me is if there, let's say there's a famous artist and they're on tour and they've been singing night after night after night. So let's say their voice is tired and let's say they lost their voice, but they don't want to cancel the show because they know that everyone was looking forward to it, so they don't cancel the show. So what they do is they lip sync. So let's say that the music cuts out, so then the whole crowd finds out that this famous person is lip syncing. That person is gonna get so much hate for lip syncing, even though they can actually sing that song. They could sing that song on any other day of the week. It just so happens that today they lost their voice. But that person is in fact capable of singing that song, just not that particular day. But none of these musers, as far as I know, like for all I know, they could be great singers, but for the sake of this argument, let's say that none of them can actually sing. So you get mad when a person who is actually able to sing can't sing this one particular day, but someone who can't sing at all is lip syncing 100% of the time, and you're making them famous for it, and they are getting meet and greets and all these people want to meet them, and I'm like, what do you want to meet them for? Like, I personally never been to a meet and greet of anyone, but if I were to go to a meet and greet, it would be to someone who's actually talented. Like, it's someone who is capable of doing something that you are incapable of doing, or something that you're not capable of doing as well. And I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure one of these musers has like her own nail polish line or something. I don't know, I heard it from like one source, so that could very well be untrue. But I heard it once, so I'm just gonna put it out there. If that is true, why are you famous? Like, some of these people even have agents, and I'm like, what do you have an agent for? So that they can tell you which song to do your 15-second Musical.ly to? And as I mentioned, I am on Musical.ly, and yes, it does take more than 15 seconds to make a Musical.ly, especially since it's playing in slow motion, so it might take 25-ish seconds. But even with that, you have to film it more than once before you get it exactly the way you want it. So let's just say that you spent 10 minutes, 20 minutes, let's say you spent an hour to get this 15-second video. Those people who actually made and produced those songs spent hours, days, weeks, months in the studio. It's like actually recording it and then post-production to actually produce that song. And they took forever to create it, and they're famous because they took the time to become famous, and you took 15 seconds out of your life to become famous. I'm pretty sure that the people who created a Musical.ly account when Musical.ly first came out weren't creating it to become famous. I'm actually not blaming the famous musers like Lauren Beach and They Love Ari and Baby Ariel. I'm pretty sure that's how you say all of their names. If not, I'm sorry, but I think that's how you say their names. And I'm not actually upset with them, because in order to be famous, you have to have fans. So it's the people who are requesting to meet them. That's the reason why they became famous. I know that these people didn't go on Musical.ly so that they could get agents and have a bunch of 7 and 8-year-olds want to meet them. But that's inevitably what happened. And if for some unknown reason, which is not gonna happen, but let's just pretend that for a second that I became Musical.ly famous, and then I have a bunch of people commenting on my musicals like, oh, when are you gonna do a meet and greet? I want to meet you. I'd be like, why do you want to meet me? What is my talent? What am I good at? Like, I remember the first Musical.ly I put up, after I put it up like 5 seconds later, this girl commented on it, and if I were to guess, I'd say she was about 7 years old, and she commented on it, and she's like, wow, you're really good at lip syncing. And that was a compliment, and I accept that compliment, and thank you to her. But at the same time, you're complimenting me on my ability to lip sync, but if a famous person who can actually sing lip synced for one of their performances, it's bad. But me, someone who isn't even actually talented, lip syncs, and it's automatically great and awesome and wonderful, and I'm getting complimented on my lip syncing skills, when someone who can't lip sync for one concert gets ridiculed for it. And I think that that is completely ridiculous. And then someone might say, well, why is anyone on any social media platform famous? Well, let's use YouTube as an example. YouTubers deserve the fame that they get because it is difficult to come up with ideas once a week or twice a week or however often you upload. I know YouTubers who upload once a day, which is sometimes multiple times a day, which I think is crazy and awesome, and I do not have enough ideas for that. But yeah, so even if you only upload once a week like I do, this is only my 12th video, and I am constantly searching for ideas because I don't want to put out something that isn't great. Like, I'm not saying all my videos have been the best of quality. Like, I'm just starting, I'm just getting used to it, but I try my best to put out something that is good quality. And so to come up with, it's one thing to actually have an idea, and then it's one thing to actually make that idea tangible and turn it into something that's real, something that other people can experience so that you can share your ideas with others. It's one thing to think it, and then it's another thing to carry it through and produce it for other people to experience. And so I might put out a 7-minute video, but I might have filmed for 20 minutes to half an hour, and then I put in like an hour to 2 hours of editing. And I know that it doesn't seem like that because my videos are relatively simple and I'm just sitting in front of my computer and like all I'm doing is like jump cuts, but it still takes a while, and maybe it shouldn't take that long. Maybe I'm just really bad at it, I don't know, but it still takes me a while. So I imagine all these people that do all these special effects and all these cool different filming styles, that it must take them twice as long, 3 times as long, way longer than it takes me. So I think that the fact that you found this idea, found a way to create the idea and put it out there, and then you took the time in post-production to make it to the best of its ability, I think you deserve it because you put in all this time and effort. And then for another example, Vine. I recently got Vine, and yes, I know that Vine came out 3 years ago and I'm really late on this trend, but I just got it. And I actually, before I downloaded it, I was looking up like the history of Vine, and then I found out that Vine got released on January 24th, 2013, and that's my birthday. So I was like, what? I have to have an app, a very popular app, that was released on my birthday. That's probably a really dumb reason to download an app, but I was already gonna download it, but then I saw that and I'm like, this is a sign, I must get this app. So anyways, on Tuesday, like this past Tuesday, May 17th, I downloaded the app, and at first, like when it first came out in 2013, I heard about it and I didn't download it. One, because I had a BlackBerry at the time, and then a month later I did get an iPhone, but I didn't download it because I didn't understand the concept of 6-second videos, and I'm like, what can you possibly do in 6-second videos? And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have recently been watching Vine compilations, and then I've been seeing all these people that can fit like something meaningful, like a short skit or something that has a storyline to it in 6 seconds, and I think that's so awesome. And I've uploaded like one a day since I got it. Will I be able to keep that up? Probably not, but so far I've been uploading 1 Vine a day, so if you want to check that out, the link will be down below. All this promo in one video. Anyways, all these, for both YouTube and Vine, people are creating their own content, and yes, some of them are similar. Like for example, on YouTube you have tags and challenges. Like for example, my very first video was a get to know me tag, and there are thousands of get to know me tags, but at the same time all of them are different. So even though all the questions are relatively the same, all the answers are going to be different. So even though you watch 20 get to know me tags, you're gonna get to know 20 different people in 20 different ways. And so even though a lot of things are relatable, and for example, my last video was titled Things I Thought as a Kid, and Jenna Marbles made 2 of those videos. So I have a video that's titled the exact same thing as hers, but when you watch mine and when you watch hers, we thought 2 different things when we were kids. And the same thing goes for Vine as it does for YouTube. Even though it's only 6 seconds, as I said, you can fit a lot into 6 seconds, and it's 6 seconds of your own content. And yes, you have a lot of similar ones, and you have ones that have hashtag remake at the end, so like you saw someone else's idea and you wanted to like do your own spin on it, but at the same time, it is your version of it. You are creating your own content. on Musical.ly, you take someone else's music that they spent so much time creating, and then you don't turn it into your own. Like, it's not like you made a remix of the song. You took their song and then just lip synced to it, which anyone, for the most part, is capable of doing. So I'm not bashing the app. I love the app. I love using it. It's fun to just like do it and like pretend you can sing, because it's like you have the artist's voice, and it's fun, and I'm not bashing the app or the people on it, but I don't understand the fame behind it, because in the past, in order to be famous, you had to actually have a talent, and usually talents take a lot of time to perfect, like whether you're good at a sport, or you're good at filming, or you're good at art, like visual arts, or you're good at music, or whatever it is. Though people say it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at something, well, these people on Musical.ly did not take 10,000 hours, because even if you watched a Musical.ly compilation, it would not even add up to 1 hour. And if it did, wow, you achieved 1 hour out of 10,000. You are not a professional, because you can't be a professional music person, because all you're doing is this with your cell phone. And like, when these people go to meet and greets, what do they do? What do they, like, this is literally what it is. Hey, I want to meet you because you have a smartphone like half the people on the planet, and you can do this with your smartphone, and then move opposite like this and like that. Like, that's what you're saying. I want to meet you because you have a cell phone and you can move it. That's it. You're moving your cell phone. Wow, how talented are you? Anyone who has a smartphone or an iPod or anything that has a front-facing camera, or not even that, anything that has an app store or Google Play or whatever your device has, anyone who has that app can do this. It's not that difficult. And so I love the app. I think it's fun. I think it's cute. I think it's creative to the people who made it, and that's why the app is popular. But I'm not saying people shouldn't use the app, because I use the app and I'm going to continue to use the app. But I don't understand how you're famous for not having a talent. Well, that's the end of this video. This was another rant, which I've been doing a lot of on this channel, but that's why I created a YouTube channel, so that I could voice my opinions freely. And if you happen to like this video, give it a thumbs up. All my social media links will be down below in case you want to follow me on there, and I'll see you next week with another video.